Hello and welcome back to Russ's Movie Corner. My name is Russ, and as you can see, I am sitting in front of my movie corner. I have my Through Faith t-shirt on, my Gospel of John movie right next to me, and judging by the frame around me, we are back at the Creaky Blinder video called Kent Hovind Says All of Science is Wrong. Now, in the last session, we kind of went over a little bit of the straw man / generalization fallacy that Creaky Blinder here actually commits. But I wanted to kind of touch just for a minute on his claims that Kent Hovind was kind of like, because he tends to quote Hitler, like, oh, are you trying to, bring out all of this stuff? One of the things that I'm going to do is pop down below a link to Kent Hovind's Creation Science Evangelism Seminar number 5. Now, in Seminar number 5, Kent Hovind discusses in detail that evolution has directly led to certain, philosophies here on Earth, including Nazism, communism, and a whole bunch of other things. Mostly because it's just kind of the whole survival of the fittest, and, it's like, well, if the fittest are already here, then what has to happen to the weaker races or weaker whatever, how does it happen? And as it happens, he also brings up kind of like Darwin's whole philosophy of why he wrote the book or On Origin of Species. So I would encourage you to go down and watch that. Now, for Creaky Blinder's part, most of this is something that is sort of, yes, Kent Hovind does tend to quote Hitler, but only in the context, if you actually look at it, only in the context of like a negative context. Like, for instance, in the first part of this video series, Kent Hovind mentioned that, it's like Hitler said, if you let me control the textbooks, I'll control the state, which is something that Hitler actually said. Because that's kind of what has happened in our academia today, and it's something that if you've ever seen this video, which I have, told people you should actually watch, Expel No Intelligence Allowed, to where like things like intelligent design, creationism, that kind of stuff has been kind of co-opted by the establishment to kind of create a, I hesitate to use the word, but I guess I'll go ahead and use it anyway. Basically, it creates a narrative that that everyone, that it's how everything has to happen from, well, it's kind of like you believe or die kind of thing, academically. You either believe in evolution or you're out of the thing. You're out of academia, and that's kind of what Creaky Blinder here kind of talks about a lot. Is it's like, oh, you don't believe in evolution, so you don't believe in any science at all, and it's like, no, we never said that. And that's the generalization fallacy that he commits, is, oh, you don't believe in this one portion of science, exclamation point, trademark, so therefore you're evil because you don't believe in anything science related. It's like, well, we never said that. And that's kind of what this video series is about. Again, I'm not putting Kent up on a pedestal. I'm not saying that Kent is, like the greatest person ever, anything like that. What I'm doing is I'm trying to come at this from the standpoint of the more that we as human beings try to get away from the Bible and from absolute truth, we start to get into this realm of, well, if you don't believe in what I believe, then you don't believe in truth. Well, what is truth? Well, truth is what I say it is. And so since you don't believe in this little tiny portion of science over here that has zero evidence to back it up, well, then you just don't believe in science at all. It's like, I never said that. Kent never said that. I've never said that. Like, Ken Ham has never said that. We believe in science, but we believe in science that is observable, measurable, testable, demonstrable. Okay? Things that you can study, test, demonstrate. You can't do that with evolution. And to a certain extent, you can't do that with creation either. But that's the point that Kent and I and Ken Ham and a lot of others have been bringing up to atheists, is that, yeah, it's a religious belief at that point. Because you have no proof that that's how it worked. Okay? And that's what we're going to get into with this. So, let's jump right back in.
Calcium, phosphorus, potassium, and sulfur. But the point I'm trying to make is that we can explain...
Okay, so basically what he was naming there is what's known as chenops on the periodic table. And carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, sulfur, it's like most of the materials that are necessary for life. Hydrogen's in there too. But just because those chemicals are in abundance, okay, doesn't mean that we were born of a Big Bang, okay? Because there's carbon in the ground. There's carbon in us. And the Bible clearly states, you know, we arose from dust, God formed us from the dust, and when we die, we return to dust, which is true. If you look at a decomposed body, what's left? After, you know, thousands of years, hundreds of years, nothing's left of the body. Now, if you went and dug up if a person died tomorrow, they're not going to return to dust immediately, right? Takes a while, okay? But eventually, if you were to dig up a grave from a person that's, 100, 200, 300 years dead, and opened up their casket, okay, their casket would be like their body would be completely dust. Okay, now that there might be some bones left. Okay, because bones are dense and they have a lot more mineral content, like calcium and that kind of stuff. But like all of the soft parts, the flesh, the organs, all that would be just dust. Okay, and it says, we were taken from dust, we were formed from dust, and to dust we return. And yeah, so we find a lot of the elements that are in dirt in us, which just goes to show that God formed us from the dirt. Just as much as it proves, if you can even call it that, your theory, Creaky. So honestly, it really doesn't prove one way or the other, because if we were to put up a column and put evidential facts, and we were to put down like chemicals that are in here that are also in the crust, and then we would say God formed us from the dust and like life arose from rocks, we'd be able to go, yeah, okay, we can see that. But does that prove one way or the other that one theory is better than the other? It really doesn't, which is why both theories should be taught. I went over this in my Emma Thorne Christian School textbooks debunked series. I went over that same exact thing. Like, if you truly believe that your theory isn't religious, then we should be teaching creationism, intelligent design, and evolution all together and allowing the people to make up their own minds of what it is, instead of intellectually putting a gun to people's heads and saying, no, you have to believe in the theory of evolution, otherwise you don't believe in science at all. Because a lot of the intellectual pioneers that actually made science what it is today, okay, were not big believers in evolution. They were believers in creationism, and they just wanted to understand, why did things work the way they work? Like Galileo, Isaac Newton, all those people, Einstein, all of them were just trying to understand this universe that God created. It wasn't until Charles Darwin saw a bunch of finches on an island and thought, oh, those finches are related to bananas, and they're related to monkeys, and they're related to alligators, and they're related to flowers, and they're related to everything. Wow, we must have arose from slime. Where the fuck did he ever get that shit? That's not science, son. That's religion. That has no basis anywhere in any science. None whatsoever. You can't prove it. And you certainly, up to this point, have not offered anything else. And we'll see if in the next 15 minutes he actually offers anything, but I doubt it.
Things with a high degree of accuracy. What does the Bible explain, Ken? Oh, that's right. How to kill babies, rape women, and talk to a bush.
No, son. That's not what it teaches. If that's what you think the Bible teaches, then son, you've never read the Bible. You've only ever heard somebody like Richard Dawkins talk about the Bible. And that means that you, son, have no clue. And you are so ignorant of the Bible, you have no business talking about it at all. Because that's not what it says. I mean, should I really go and look at the passage where, like, say, the Egyptians killed the babies? Or King Herod killed all the male babies because he didn't want to be usurped from his throne? That wasn't God doing that. That was men. Men like you. Men like me. Fallible human men. It wasn't God. And raping women? Are you talking about Absalom? I mean, seriously? Is that what you're bringing up as your evidence against the Bible? Again, a human man who desired his own half-sister enough that he raped her? And was killed for it? That's your evidence? Like, dude, you didn't even finish the freaking story. Absalom's own half-brother goes and kills him for doing that. Really? Really? That's what you're going to bring up. You see how idiotic these atheists are. Because they have no clue what this book actually says. All they do is they just go, oh, I'm going to cherry pick one story out of here from, 2 Samuel where, Absalom's half-brother does this. Oh, and the Lord said to go kill some babies. Yeah, the Lord said to kill a lot of people. The Lord killed the entire city of Sodom and Gomorrah and surrounding towns because of their sexual depravity, you absolute idiot. You're lucky that the Lord isn't around right now. Because I can guarantee you that cities like San Francisco, New York, Los Angeles, San Diego, Seattle, Las Vegas, Chicago, I could go on and on and on about all of the damn cities that would be destroyed like that should God ever decide to come back. Because He's a just God. And if you don't understand that, then son, you're lost. And you have no business standing around talking about a book that you know next to nothing about. This is what frustrates me, and this is the reason why I do this, is because I need people to understand that if you're not out there pushing back against this, this is what they believe about our Bible. Okay?
How about this one? Textbook right there on the shelf. How the universe was born 18 to 20 billion years ago. All the matter in the universe. Would that include the Pacific Ocean and the Rocky Mountains and all of Earth, all of the moons, everything, all the planets, all the stars?
Now, I can never figure out whether you're just a complete moron, a compulsive liar, or both. It's probably both, isn't it?
Actually, Creaky, what he's asking is a legitimate question that you're not answering. You're dodging it. You're doing the Dillahunty dodge right here. Okay? Because you're trying to go around the question. He's asking a legitimate question. Okay? How much matter is in the Pacific Ocean? Have you ever thought about that? How much matter is the Earth? How much mass is in the Earth? And how much of that matter, okay? And you guys believe, you truly believe, this is in your theory, okay? Again, I told you this last time. This is in your theory, okay? You all believe that it was squished down into a period, okay? into a dot smaller than a period on a page. I can't even squeeze one sheet of paper. Okay? You can't even squeeze one sheet of paper. Like rolling it up and squeezing and doing all that stuff. You can't even squeeze it that small, son. And you want us to believe that when we look up at the stars, all of the trillions and gazillions and quintillions and gazillions of stars out there, okay? Some of which are mighty larger, many, many, many times larger than our own sun, okay? Then if they were in our solar system would engulf most of the planets except for maybe Pluto, okay? You want us to believe that those were squeezed into something smaller than a period at the end of a sentence? That's what he's asking. And what do? The Dillahunty Dodge.
Nobody is saying that the Big Bang happened and everything was exactly as it is now. That's just what idiot creationists say in a vain attempt to try and discredit science.
No, Creaky. We're asking a legitimate question. Because all of that matter had to come from somewhere. Because again, the first law of thermodynamics states that matter can neither be created nor destroyed, it can only be transformed. And yet you, yes you, Creaky, want to sit there and say, oh, that's not how the Big Bang works. Then how does it work? Did it work as Alan Guth said, and violate the law of physics by having it come from absolutely nowhere? It just happened to pop into existence, and as if by magic? Because if it did, then that's a physicist that's violating his own fundamental laws of physics that were laid down by God, by the way. Because as I've said before, if there is a creator God, and if he did create the universe, he had to create the fundamentals of science, physics, chemistry, biology, all that stuff, okay? Including speciation, okay? He told things to multiply and fill the earth, okay? It says that multiple times in here, okay? God tells the animals, go forth and multiply, fill the earth, okay? Which they do. But see, the problem comes in when people like him want to believe in a theory that doesn't make any sense. And when we question that theory, all of a sudden, we're the idiots? No, we're just asking basic questions. See, you're the idiot, Creaky, because you don't understand the Bible. You've never read the Bible. You've only ever gleaned information from it when someone else has told you about it. Okay? Hence the reason why you said, oh, from a book that just, condones raping women and killing babies. Man, we got people that want to kill babies right now. And it doesn't even involve the Bible. They just want to go out and kill babies. It's called abortion, son. Okay? And us Christians, the ones that believe in the Bible, are going, no, that's murder. So which is it? Does it condone it or does it not? Because in my readings of it, it's not condoning it at all. It's saying don't do that. But you want to sit there and believe that you have the moral high ground, which you don't. But then when we question your theory and we bring up legitimate points, holes in your theory, you call us the idiots. That's called hypocrisy, son. Because you're doing the Dillahunty dodge. Now let's see if he actually answers this.
It ain't working, Kent. That's the thing about science, Kent. It relies heavily on evidence for the claims it makes, and that evidence then gets examined to establish the validity of any claims made.
Yes. Only until you don't have any evidence to back up your claims. Okay? Because again, in the LHC, the Large Hadron Collider at CERN, okay, it's this big tube underground, okay, with these big magnets, okay, and this thing goes around in a circle, okay, and they send particles around in a circle, okay, and the magnets accelerate the particles because the chamber's in a vacuum. And then basically what happens is that they accelerate those particles to the point where they reach about the speed of light, maybe a little quicker, and then they bring the beams into symmetry, and then those particles collide. And when those particles collide, they watch what happens, okay, to those atoms as they collide. What is going on with that? And they have these little detectors and collectors and all these different things that read what all these different particles are, okay? And they call it C0. It's called coordinate zeros, where the two particles collect, okay? And they've observed that sometimes when they collide particles at very high speeds, that a rip in the fabric of space-time happens, okay, at C0. It's not very big. I mean, it's, just, picometers across. But there's a small tear in the fabric of space-time, okay? And it quickly repairs itself, and, it lasts less than a fraction of a second, okay? But it's there, which is what some of the scientists at CERN have kind of been like, okay, could that have happened at the moment of the Big Bang? That's the postulation. But they've never been able to widen that tear, and they've never been able to, make it so that it sustains for any length of time. Okay? So they can't postulate if it actually happened or not, because they can't observe it. Again, it's all about observe, study, test, and demonstrate. Okay? Because they can't do that stuff, it doesn't make any sense. And what Kent Hovind says right here is it's right here, okay? It says many astronomers believe that about 18 to 20 billion, and this was 1992, by the way. Now they're saying it's 13.8 billion. But he said 18 to 20 billion years ago, all the matter in the universe was concentrated into one very dense, very hot region that may have been very much smaller than the period on this page. For some unknown reason, this region exploded. The explosion is called the Big Bang. That's what Kent is challenging, okay? And so Creaky's response to that is, number one, he does the Dillahunty dodge. And then number two, he goes, oh, but see, we know because we observe. How do you observe it? When did you observe it? Did you go back in time and observe the Big Bang happening, Creaky? Oh, you didn't. Oh, I assumed you had, considering that you said that you've observed it. No. What they've observed is they've observed cosmic microwave background radiation, okay, which is pretty much, no matter where they pointed radio telescopes, all they heard was just this white noise that seemed to be in general strength no matter where they pointed the telescope, okay, in the sky, at any given day, on any given time of the year. And no matter which, we could be in the middle of the daytime, we could be in the middle of the nighttime, it didn't matter, okay? Wherever we pointed the telescopes, unless we were pointing them directly at a star, or a constellation of stars, or at a galaxy, or anything like that, we would only hear just this kind of generalized background noise. And they realized that that background noise was constant. And pretty much however they would, view this stuff, it seemed to be at a constant temperature, and it seemed to be at a thing. Even though they've actually found some cold spots, they found some hot spots, and they still don't know why this stuff is there. But the point is that they had this cosmic microwave background radiation. And then what they did is they said, well, it's mimicking something like this on Earth, and because this has this decay rate, We can use that decay rate to kind of test and see. So they ran some numbers, and they came up with 13.8 billion years. Okay? But even that is flawed, because did they go out there and did they actually test the cosmic microwave background radiation? No. Okay, it's impossible. They can't do it. Okay? They're assuming that it's the same radiation as something that we find here on Earth, and so that's why they used that formula to get that number. Okay? Again, it's all based on assumption, because we're not out there, we're not measuring it. Okay? And I think even if we were out there, I don't know that we'd be able to measure it, because if it was background radiation, wouldn't some of it be here in our own solar system? Because wouldn't it be background radiation? Wouldn't it be all around us? You think? Again, not sure why that is. Okay? But the point still remains, is that where did all that matter come from? And how could you squeeze all of that matter into a period smaller, in a smaller region than a period on a page? That's the point that Kent Hovind is bringing up here. Okay? He's saying that, how did that happen? He's questioning, okay? He's like, you're talking about stars and galaxies and planets and, stellar gas and all of this stuff, all the dark matter, everything being squeezed into a region smaller than a period on a page? Like take a book, okay, open it up, look at the period, and then think about everything around you being squeezed into a region smaller than that period. How would that work? It doesn't make any sense. That's the point that we're raising as Christians, okay, to the atheists out there, is how does that work? That's all he's asking. He's not trying to say your theory isn't valid. He's asking legitimate questions that you need to answer. And if you're not going to answer it, then don't do a response video and do the Dillahunty Dodge.
Smaller than a period on this page.
Yep.
Can you believe they cut down a tree to print that?
I know,
Where
right?
are you save the planet guys when it comes to wasting pages on these stupid lies? Now, come on now, where are you?
Yeah.
I've got to say it, or I'm not going to sleep tonight. The more content I make about Kent Hovind, the more I'm starting to realise that he's a pretty pathetic individual. Imagine if your entire life revolved around lying to the people you claim to care about in order to line your own pockets. A newsflash: nobody believes anything you...
Oh, the hypocrisy. Creaky, you don't even realize that you're doing the same thing, son. You're lying to your followers because you're not giving them any credible scientific evidence that disputes anything that Kent Hovind is bringing up. Okay? So, you're sitting there lying about Kent Hovind, and your followers are paying you money, okay? And you're accusing Kent Hovind of doing the same exact thing. That is the biggest hypocrisy ever, dude. Oh my gosh. Wow. I mean, dude, seriously. You haven't brought up anything of substance. Nothing. You're like Scam Man Dan, Professor Dave, Aaron Raw, all the rest. You guys are all on the same page. You all come up with the same arguments. You all say the same things. It is pathetic to me to think that you guys are any better than Kent Hovind, okay? And like I said, I'm not doing this video to put Kent Hovind on a pedestal and say he's the best, or he's this, he's that. I'm not going to talk about any of his legal issues. I'm not going to talk about any of that. My whole thing of this is, as a Christian, okay, when a fellow brother Christian is being attacked online, like Ken Hovind is. I do it if people were doing it with Ken Ham. I do it if people were doing it to Mike Winger. Okay, wouldn't matter. Okay, but the point is that the hypocrisy on display here is so gigantic. It is. I mean, it's like, dude, you're looking at the speck in his eye without even taking the plank out of your own. Come on, Creaky. This has got to be the biggest hypocritical statement I have heard since I did one of my Simon Dan reviews of this. A similar review of this. When he was standing there going, "Oh, Kent, you're just lying for your people," and I'm going, "Yeah, and you do the same thing. You stand there with your sponsors and your Patreon and your other things, talking about how you want money and how you want people to, back your content and do all this stuff. And you're lying because you're not providing any evidence. It's all just your opinion. You don't have any evidence to back up your theory, and you don't even know what your own theory says, let alone what the Bible says. So you're lying about things, and now you're accusing another guy of lying." Like, it is the biggest hypocritical statement I have ever heard in my life. Honestly, okay? These atheists are all hypocrites. Every last one of them. And son, I've told you in my last session, okay? I have more evidence for this one book than you have for your whole entire theory. Because in this book, okay, we have historical accounts, we have eyewitness accounts, we have secular historical records, we have archaeological evidence, anthropological evidence, mountains of evidence, the Dead Sea Scrolls, son. Okay? Look them up. We have more evidence for this book. Your willing ignorance of that is not my problem. Okay? Never has been. And I've said that on every single one of my comment sessions when somebody brings up something like this. "Oh, you have no evidence for this." I'm like, no, I have a mountain of evidence for my book. What do you have for your theory again? Lines on paper and bones in the dirt. That's it. In layers that were arbitrarily assigned by a man who was just as much of an atheist as Creaky was, and Charles Lyell. My God, son. Listen to yourself. Seriously, if you're a follower of Creaky Blinder and you happen upon this video, go back about 3 or 4 or 5 minutes here, back to when he was just talking. Okay? What evidence did he propose that backs up anything he's claimed? And what evidence did he offer that this is just a book of stories? Yeah, thought so. He hasn't offered a single thing, which means he's a liar and a hypocrite.
You say, you're a laughing stock, pal, a joke.
Only by your side, Creaky. Okay? There are many Christians out there that listen to Kent that listen to Kent's videos. Okay? In fact, I can go into videos, reposts of his creation seminar since he's been kicked off of YouTube. I can go to reposts of his creation seminar, some of his other videos that he's done, some of the debates that he's done that are out there, where people are like, "Oh my gosh, I saw clips of this, or I saw something about this, and I've watched some of his videos. I really enjoy his work. He's really funny. He's really great." The only people that are laughing at him are people like you, Creaky. That's it. It has nothing to do. You can say he's a laughingstock, but son, I've been laughing more at you than I ever have at him. Because of your hypocrisy, son. Okay? And your blatant ignorance of basic biblical knowledge. Okay? And your basic ignorance of your own theory, which you haven't even provided any evidence for as of 7 minutes. in 7 minutes and 5 seconds of this. So good luck trying to come back from that.
Man that bullies people into believing what you believe. Well, what I...
Actually, no. No one's bullying you into believing anything. I wasn't bullied into believing in Jesus Christ by Ken Hovind. Okay? I wasn't bullied into it by my parents. I wasn't bullied into it by a church. I came into it on my own accord. Okay? Granted, when I was a kid, my parents took me to church. I believed in Jesus. I believed he died on the cross. I didn't know why or how or when or what. Okay? I had no knowledge other than just, here was this man, Jesus, who died for me. But nobody ever told me what that meant. Not even after I became a Christian did I know what that truly meant. Until I sat down and started really reading through the Bible and listening to preachers and talking with people, that I found out, oh, okay, I understand now. That's what that event was. That's how I became a Christian. Nobody's being bullied. No Christian out there is doing the Muslim thing of putting a gun to your head and saying, believe or die. Okay? And, like, none of us are issuing fatwas against people like Drew the Genetically Modified Skeptic or Christy Burke or anyone like that who claims to have been a Christian and then fell away from their faith. We don't go, oh, you people are apostasies. Oh, we're going to kill you. No, we don't say that. Like, show me a Christian who has said that outside of Catholicism in the 15th century. Okay? That's only because they were losing revenue. So they thought, maybe if I, yell and scream at these people enough and threaten them enough, maybe that will get them to come back. And it didn't. It actually made people go further away from Catholicism. Okay? The Spanish Inquisition was probably one of the worst things the Queen of Spain, Isabella, the Queen of Spain, could have ever done to further the advancement of religion. I get it. I get why she did it. She was high on the hog, and she was like, I am the queen, and I can do what I want, and my first act is going to be to create an inquisition that is going to walk around and, put people down on the ground, if they put people underground if they're not going to believe in Catholicism. And it was probably the worst thing she ever could have done to further Catholicism. Because you attract more flies with honey than with vinegar. Okay? A point which a lot of people have brought up over the years, in that when you want to go evangelize to someone, you don't walk up to them, smack them over the head with a Bible, and be like, you're going to hell today if you don't believe in Jesus. That doesn't get people to believe. Now, walking up to them, showing them where it says that you're going to hell because you're a sinner, and I was too, but I have Jesus, you can go to heaven like me if you believe. Repent. You attract more people that way. Which is what I'm trying to do in the Christy Burke video series, is I'm trying to get more people to understand that it's okay to question Christianity, it's okay to have doubts at times, but it's not okay to throw it all away for something that doesn't exist. Because you believe that you're a, quote, good person, unquote. That's not real. Okay? And it's the same thing here. Creaky Blinder has not provided any single evidence for anything he's claimed up to this point. He's just spouting off the top of his head what he's heard other pop atheists say, like Aaron Raw, Scam Man Dan, Professor Dave, Drew the Genetically Modified Skeptic, all those people, they're all saying the same exact thing. And you can test me on that. Go watch my Simon Dan videos, go watch some of my other videos that I've done on this. They all say the same thing. Every single one of them. They don't know their theory, okay? But they'll spout it just the same. And they have next to no idea what the Bible actually says.
I say nobody, obviously I haven't included other young earth creationists in that. They'll believe anything that the Bible says. It's quite sad, actually, when you think about it. What a way to live your life.
It all began in a big bang. Let's see. Why can we see stars 46 billion light years away if it's only 13 billion years old?
Is that really your question?
Yeah, it's a legitimate question. Come on, Creaky. Come on. Are you going to do another Dillahunty Dodge here? Come on, that's the question. Okay? supposedly we're seeing light, okay, that travels at a certain speed, right? Right? We quote it as c in physics, okay? Come on. It's supposedly traveling at a certain speed, right? Right? How can we see something that is 46 billion light years away if the universe, according to your theory, is 13.8 to 20 billion years old? There wouldn't have been enough time for the light to even reach us. So how does it work, son? That's a legitimate question. Now let's see if he does the Dillahunty Dodge again.
I cannot wait to hear what you say about this.
Oh, he did. He did. He did the Dillahunty Dodge. He's not going to answer the question. Gee, I wonder why. See, the thing is that what doesn't make any sense. Read this paragraph up here. Okay, it says the light that travels the longest gets stretched by the greatest amount, and the object that emitted the light is now at a greater distance because the universe is expanding. We can see objects up to 46.1 billion light years away precisely because of the expanding universe. Well, then they wouldn't be 46.1 billion light years away. They would be further away than that. If it's 46.1 billion light years today, then that means that the light would have had to have started after the Big Bang, so sometime at like 13.80000000001. Okay? It would have had to have started at that point, and actually probably not even that, because after it expanded and then all of the galaxies got together and all the stuff got together, who knows how long that took, because nobody knows, and as if by magic, then that, once those formed, then the light would have traveled towards our galaxy, which at that point we don't know if that was actually our thing or not. So the point being that we don't know, okay, because it can't. You can't say that it is 46.1 billion light years away because of the expanding universe, because it would not have been the universe expanding at that point would not have been. It would not have been at 46.1 billion light years. It would have only been at about 12 billion light years, or 11 billion light years, or 10 billion light years. You get my meaning? So the light that would have been traveling from there, it would not have expanded that far yet. So it would not be where we see it in the sky, it would be where we thought we saw it. Do you understand? Okay? Like, when you watch this video, I've already recorded it. I've already said everything that I wanted to say in this video. Okay? And what happens is that I take that video, I upload it to YouTube, and then you click on it some point in the future. Okay? You click on it, you watch it, and I'm saying this to you. Okay? I'm no longer sitting in this chair talking about this subject. I could be talking about a different video. I could be filming a different video. I could be doing something completely different. But I'm not here in this moment doing this thing. But the light capture from this that's being transmitted to your screen right now shows me sitting in this chair discussing this topic about this. Does that make sense? So where I am in the future when you're watching this is going to be different than where I am currently, presently, sitting in this chair. Does that make sense? That's the point that he's trying to bring up. And that's the point that Creaky Blinder just went, did the Dillahunty Dodge.
Fair question.
It is a fair question.
The light that travels the longest gets stretched by the greatest amount. Oh, so it's speeding up. And the object, where's the gas coming from to run that machine? The light that emitted that light is now at a greater distance. We can see objects 46 billion light years away because of the expanding universe. Oh, this is the big think. You really expect me to believe that?
Not really, no. I expect you to shut the up and listen. You might even learn something.
Creaky, again, you haven't provided a single explanation about anything, son. You haven't. And you expect us to sit there and believe that? Seriously?
Reason we can see stars 46 billion light years away when the universe is only 13.8 billion years old is because over time, space has been expanding.
No. No. Because if the speed of light is truly a constant, okay? If the speed of light is truly a constant, as physics says, okay? Speed of light, c, is a constant. Okay? Then the objects that we would see would be less than 20 billion years old. Less than 13.8 now that they've decided on that number. Okay? That's where we would see the light coming from. And that's the objects that we would see. We would not be able to see further back than that. Okay? Because to see further back than that would be to see further back in time than the age of the universe. There would not have been enough time for that light to get here. Do you understand that? That's the point of the question. Now, the explanation that Christians come up with, okay, one of the passages that I'll read here really quick is let me see here. Hang on. Let me look at okay. Job chapter 9. Then Job answered and said, Truly I know that it is so, but how can a man be in the right before God? If one wished to contend with him, one could not answer him once in 1,000 times. He is wise in heart and mighty in strength, who has hardened himself against him and succeeded. He who removes mountains, and they know it not, when he overturns them in his anger, who shakes the earth out of its place, and its pillars tremble, who commands the sun, and it does not rise, who seals up the stars, who alone stretched out the heavens and trampled the waves of the seas, who made the Bear and Orion and Pleiades and the chambers of the south, who does great things beyond searching out and marvelous things beyond number. And again, bless the Lord, O my soul. This is Psalm 104, 1 and 2. Bless the Lord, O my soul. O Lord, my God, you are very great. You are clothed with splendor and majesty, covering yourself with light as with a garment, stretching out the heavens like a tent. He lays the beams of his chambers on the waters. He makes the clouds his chariot. He rides the wings of the wind. He makes the messengers winds, his ministers a flaming fire. And last one. It is he, this is Isaiah 40:22. It is he who sits above the circle of the earth, and its inhabitants are like grasshoppers, who stretches out the heavens like a curtain, and spreads them like a tent to dwell in. So, it says that the Lord stretches out the heavens like a tent. Okay? And so, if it's the Lord doing the stretching, then that's the expansion that we're seeing. Okay? Which means that the light isn't billions of years old. And that in a vacuum, light can move much faster than the speed of light as a constant. Okay? And we don't truly know for certain if the photons of light that are coming towards us are moving at 8 light minutes, or if they're moving faster than that. Okay? We just estimated it and said this is how much it is. Because, I mean, they've been able to slow it down to where they've practically stopped a photon, and they've been able to speed it up to multiple times the speed of light. Okay? Like I said, at CERN, they've been able to, speed the light up, many times faster than the speed of light. Okay? So, I mean, that's the point. You don't know that light is 46.1 billion years old. You're assuming it because somebody told you that number based upon a constant that was chosen by fallible men.
So the distant objects that give off the light 13.8 billion years ago have since moved further away from us. And today those distant objects are a little bit more than 46 billion light years away.
Yeah, but again, you can't know that. Because the light would have only been in motion since the beginning of time. And we would be observing where they would be, not where they're at currently. And where they're at currently, of course, today, they're not. Because of how the trick of the light works. Okay? Like, the only reason that our constellations stay the same is because we're moving and they're moving at the same speed. Pretty much. Okay? So it doesn't appear that they're shifting. Yes, there's a little bit of a wobble here and there, but for the most part, the way that we're moving through our galaxy, all of the stars in the galaxy are all moving at the same speed. So it doesn't appear that they're shifting, even though they're shifting very slightly. Okay? But again, it's not the same thing, because we can't compare those lights to lights that are multiple times further away, because those lights, if they were truly 46 billion light years away, we would not be seeing that light of those objects at that point. We would be seeing them further in. Do you understand? Because where they were when they started giving their light and where they are today are in two different separate places. Okay? I mean, it would be like if we could get into a, magic space capsule that could transport us anywhere in the galaxy instantaneously. Okay? Or, well, not galaxy. Let's say just anywhere in the universe instantaneously. We just point ourselves in a place and just hit a button and then we just appear there. Okay? If we were to try to do that, we would not enter, if we were to say, let's say we were going to go to the Andromeda Galaxy, okay? If we were to point at where the Andromeda Galaxy is and jump there, we wouldn't enter into the Andromeda Galaxy. Because where the Andromeda Galaxy is, okay, where we're seeing it, is not where it is today. Could be closer to us, could be further away from us. Okay? Point is, we don't know. Because where we're seeing it in space and time is like a snapshot, basically. Okay? Because that's, the light takes, so long to reach us. And then we look at that and we go, oh wow, it's a pretty galaxy. Okay? But where that galaxy is today is not where we are. And not where it is. Okay? We're only seeing it because that's how long, it's because according to the theory, with c being the constant of the speed of light, it's saying that the speed of light is so many thousand or millions of miles per second, and so it takes this long to travel in a year, and because of that, it takes, so long for that light from the Andromeda Galaxy to reach here that if we were to travel there, like I said, if we were to instantaneously be able to push a button and travel to the galaxy, it would be in a completely different place. Where we would jump to, the galaxy would not be there. It would either be closer to the Milky Way or be further away from the Milky Way, depending on where it is in relation to us. Okay? And that's what I'm saying. If you were to jump to that distant point, where it's supposedly 46 billion light years away, if you were to push a button and jump to it, it would not be there. Because where it is today is in a completely different position than where it was when it released its light. That's my point. Okay? And that was my point of using the analogy of you're viewing this video on the internet, okay, but I'm not physically sitting at my computer looking into my webcam talking. This is not a live stream, okay, where I'm physically sitting here talking to you and you're typing at a keyboard going, hey, this is a pretty neat stream. This is a completely different thing, because where I'm at this distant point in the future is not going to be in the same spot talking about the same thing. I could be making a different video. I could still be sitting in the same spot, but I'm probably making a different video. I might be making another Creaky Blinder video. I might be making another Christy Burke video. I might be doing a DVD review. It doesn't matter. My point is that I'm not going to be making this video. And the video that you're viewing, this video that you're viewing now, okay, happened in the past. It is a snapshot in time of me talking about you. Not physically the other person on the side of the screen. I'm talking about Creaky Blinder. Okay? That's the point that Kent is trying to make. Is that we can't know that it's 46.1 billion light years away because the light couldn't possibly be that old. It could only ever be less than 20 billion years old. Which means that the people that are calculating these distances don't know how far or fucking anything about the goddamn shit that they're talking about. Which is the reason why there's a lot of people out there going, yeah, we think that the Big Bang Theory is kind of bupkis now because the Webb telescope is showing us galaxies that are rounder and smoother and younger, that are multiple times distant away, that if we looked back in time, if we use the speed of light, and we go back in time, it's actually way older than the Big Bang. Which means that either we made some serious mistakes, and the universe is way older than we actually think, or B, our theory is crap and we need a new one stat. Care to guess which one they're going to choose? Yeah, it's not going to be that it's much older than that. No. It's we need a new theory stat. Yeah, the James Webb Telescope basically made Swiss cheese out of the whole idea of the Big Bang. Sorry. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, drop a comment below, let me know what you think of the series so far, and, I'm going to keep doing this, and I'm just going to keep answering these questions because it needs to happen, because people like Creaky Blinder have no idea. They are so ignorant about things. And, I mean, like, the things that he's saying, it's kind of like, yes, we get it. We understand. But at the same time, it's not the same thing. Okay? Your whole idea of, you know, of thinking that as, you know, humans, we can know exactly how old something is by the speed of light is just absolutely asinine. Okay? And what Kent Hovind puts down as a red shift is the Lord stretches out the heavens. Okay? And his thing is, we don't know how fast the true speed of light is. We just know how fast light goes from our sun to our earth. But we can't know if that's constant all around the universe. Okay? Light could be speeding through the void much faster than we think. And so things that to us appear billions of years old could actually only be thousands of years old. Because we don't know. Okay? Because we're not God. And as we say, we will see you on the next one.